Hey, you guys, welcome back to Hospitality Queens with your favorite two hospitality gurus. I'm Erin,
What up? It's Whitney.
and welcome back to another episode.
Welcome
We
back.
we are now in August, officially new month, new great things, and I hope that you guys are having a great start to your month.
It's been a start, all right, but yeah, it's great.
There's definitely gonna be some bumps in the road, okay? It's giving bumps in the road, but the best part about it is, it's like it's all about how you handle it. It's all about what you want to do.
Yeah, I feel like for a lot of different things that we've been seeing, like you may be handed some stuff, but this actually Nuck a Few Buck season just came to mind. You gotta fight back. you
You
gotta
do.
you
You
gotta stand up
do.
for yourself.
It is
So
time to stand up for yourself.
yeah.
I think that's a really great
Mm,
way to put it. I think for so long in a lot of different situations and parts of everyone's life, we probably hold our tongue or try to do the right thing, and we don't like hold what really means a lot to us. And
mhm,
we're really being called to do that right now. Like these
mhm,
super moons, these full moons, it's saying, yo, you will have like you will get what you need if you stand up for yourself. But if you
yep,
don't, then that's where the repetitive frustrations will come from. 1,000%.
mhm. And you hold yourself back, and like there's like so many things that you know that could happen, but if you don't take the steps, it's not going to just happen just because it's supposed to. You have to like do the work as well.
You have
So
to do the work. So cheers to doing the work. I'm gonna sip on a little wine today. This one's called Don Imando. It's a Cabernet. It's
mm,
Argentinian wine.
mm.
So I'm just sipping on a little wine today because it's definitely a sipper kind of day.
I'm actually not drinking. I don't really have anything. All the wine that I have is like old as hell. Like I
Mm,
don't really have anything new going on. And I don't know why. Something's not really calling me to drink. So
love it.
just listen to my body. So yeah.
Love it, love it, love it. Well, I'm gonna take a sip for wit. I had a really awesome weekend, and so I'm just gonna recover from that. Plus, your girl went to open house today, so cheers to all the parents that if you live in Texas or Tennessee, we're in Georgia. All the kids are starting really mad early this year. So if your kid is starting this week or early beginning of August, you need a thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you for your hard work and dedication to getting them ready and prep for school. And you got this, period.
Mhm. It's back to school time. It's lit. It's litty.
There's a lot of, I'm not one of those back to school picture kind of girls, but
Like to post.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I just, number one, my kid doesn't really want to be in the camera like that. And it's a lovely accolade for yourself, but I just don't ever like, I don't know. Just not my thing. So we definitely have pictures from school, but I just
I
don't
mean,
know if
yeah,
my son wants to put his stuff on blast. He barely want to take a picture for me.
yeah. I'm the same. I have a good jillion pictures of Jonah on my phone, but them getting on social media never happens. I've never. I don't really post Jonah online like that. So
Yeah, yeah. Like some stuff, obviously, it's like, okay, cool, we get a pic and whatever, and he's into the vibes. But my kid is very selective on the pic, so I just take that as a part of his personality trait of like, uh, give me
mm-hmm,
bad, 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 give me 50
mm-hmm,
B.
agree. We talked about before. Like August is like the month of abundance.
Hmm.
Stuff like that. I feel like life should just be abundant though, but you
Life
know.
should be abundant.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I saw these affirmations. It has like a bunch of different things. It says appreciating where you are and what you have is abundance. Being with people who love um, the f out of you is abundance. Hugging someone you love is abundance. Having a friend to share secrets and laugh with is abundance. So a girl's night out is abundance. So
It
just
is.
like I feel like sometimes we take things for granted, like a girl's night out or just hugging someone. Like it's like,
Hmm.
are you? When's the last time you hugged somebody?
When
You
was the
know?
last time you hugged somebody? For sure. And women empowerment. I actually got to have a girls' day yesterday, And what
Abundance.
I really loved about it is that it was so mature, where it's like, how can we work together to bring each other business, and how can we network together and use our skill sets to benefit each other? And that right there should be the conversation. Yes, as women, we should check in. How's your mental health? What's good? What's the tea? What's going on? But let's make those conversations positive, and like, how can we work through them versus negative, right? So like, if
Mhm.
you're giving your advice, your friend advice for, she's going through whatever toxic or whatever situation, let's not beat her up or make her feel bad so she's like homing in those things. Let's help her find ways that she can have a different outlet, so she can come out of that situation. I think it's so
Mhm.
important right now to like uplift instead of going down. And I'm actually very triggered right now for anyone that's giving negative Nancy energy. And I'm being called to speak out and shut it
Mhm.
down, because that's just, it's not okay anymore.
Mhm.
So there's so much craziness on TV and in your life, like where you work. So it's like, we must shut it down. Shut it down. Shut down the like negative, and let's speak positivity. And yesterday was just nothing but positivity, smile. I love when someone is just enjoying their birthday like no one's watching. I live for that. When I tell you, honey girl,
Mhm.
she started dancing since she got up till she dropped, honey. And she's not a
Mhm.
dancer. She doesn't really know how to dance, but that didn't matter.
You know what? It's so funny because I just saw this thing and I thought of myself, but this is really funny. It said, this is so funny that you said that. It said, you know, it's gonna be a good night when the friend that don't twerk start twerking. Like,
Oh my
damn,
gosh.
you on that? Shake something. It's like that's when you know it's litty.
It's Liddy. Like, she literally, like, I smiled from ear to ear just watching her, of how happy she was on her day. I've known her for a really long time, and I loved her growth. And I gave her a cheer yesterday, and I was like, "You've been a part of my life for a long time. I don't spend a lot of time with you, but I
Mhm.
just want you to know, like, you're dope and you're awesome, and you've always been a great person." Because you have to give people their flowers, and I think that's like that's my thing. Like, anytime I can remind a woman or a person of like all the great attributes that they're doing, I think it's important, because we get so boggled down in the things that we're not doing and we're trying to accomplish, that we need to be able to slow down and just take in those wins. And honey, she looked good. Okay. I don't
Period.
know what's going on, but y'all better buckle up, honey, because melanin is looking real young these days. I don't know if it's in the water for us, but the face is giving face. I've been seeing a
It's our
lot of
genetics.
faces. It's
It's just
like,
what it
we
is.
look so good. It's I was like, 40 who? Teenage mama who? No ma'am. We fine. We fine. Period.
Mine is
I don't know what to tell
wine.
you.
I
So I
love that.
love that. I just love looking at all the women and how awesome and happy they were. And like, she went around and told everybody like how she knew each friend, and that made me feel really nice. It's nice to hear the backstory of how some people come together, because we don't know in the end how it works. And I just adored
That's
the
so funny. I did
time.
that on my birthday too.
Oh my God, I love that. I love
Mhm.
that. I think that's very important, because it's also, it's giving your friends that, like, that's like a way to tell your friends thank you, in my mind. Like, thank you for being here. I'm introducing you, and versus just like, oh, this is, Shwanda. Cool. It's
Yeah.
like giving us some context. So like, should we need to put two and two together or come together to work together, in your defense or whatever may needed, we kind of have like a vibe, or like, we know how, where things
Yeah.
play. Like, we know that, okay, you got the kids and you got this. It's nice to know. And that
Hmm.
actually happened when I was hanging with my other friend Janice. I got to talk to one of her friends, and found out that our kids kind of go through similar things. Would have never known those things, and we wouldn't have had the conversation. And it's nice to have conversations about
Hmm.
other topics that you may not have with your friend all the time, right? Because that just may not be what it's for. So we got to have more good, collective, great girl talk. I am abundant asking for amazing, amazing era of women empowerment. No more cattiness, no more looking crazy at each other. Let's hold each other down, because we already know we're strong, but we need
Hmm.
to be that lenient, because we don't always get that from our partners, because our
Hmm.
partners need us to be strong. I think we could find that outlet within our friends to a certain degree. I think we totally could do that.
Yeah, I agree.
So cheers to us. Cheers to the beautiful women out there that are working hard and making stuff happen. And to all my men out there, y'all doing it too. Y'all doing it too, but go ahead on and make sure that y'all are supporting women as much as you can. Yes, we're emotional. Yes, we want whatever we want. That's the thing. However, we do mean well. Now, if yours person doesn't mean well, that's on you. That's on you. Can't say nothing about that. But if you pick the right person for you, you will eventually get the balance. You guys just have to really know like how our brain cells work. I think that's important. We know how y'all's work.
Yeah.
And we, even though we don't agree with it, we suck it up. So y'all gonna have to suck some stuff up too. Yeah, y'all just gonna have to do that.
That's funny.
Right? Like, it's just a balance. Like they say it's a balance. So it's like, okay, well, if you really think about it, women balance a lot more of just like logistical stuff. No one thinks about the logistics behind even keeping a home up. No one thinks about that.
Mm-hmm.
Like until you're by yourself and single. But then when you
Yeah.
add other people in, the logistics does expand.
Mm-hmm.
When there's two plus people in the household, the logistics are important. You have a kid in the household, there's plenty of the kid, pickups, drop offs, clothes, life, emergencies. Those have to be thought about, period.
Yep.
They just have to be thought about. And as a mom, of a teenager, I really think about those logistics because at the end of the day, if I can't get to it, I need to know that my son is going to be fine, period. I need to know that I want to feel secure in that.
That's a fact.
It's not too much to ask. You know why? Because it's actually what you do every day for yourself. So just add a little extra stank on it for the little ones. It ain't nothing to it but to do it at that point.
Put some stank on it. So this week Friday at work was like probably one of like the worst days of work I've had in a really long time. So like when Saturday came around, I'm just really big on like that was yesterday. We're not bringing the energy in. We're not talking about it, whatever. So I was like looking for some like team building stuff to do, with the team, like obviously with the servers. So we have like kind of like a little lull where there's not that many tables. So I found this thing called just Millionaire Me, and you just jot down some things on a piece of paper of what you would do if you won if you won the Mega Millions. So I wrote everyone's name. I wrote Millionaire Me, and I wrote everyone's name on a little sticky note and gave it to everyone. And it's so funny because everyone was just so like they were instantly excited. Like they so excited, and I was like, okay, just jot it down. They were like, so do like I was like, just write it down, take 5 to 10 minutes, like don't talk about it yet. And they're like, are you gonna read it? Like they're just making all I'm like, relax. Like we just don't ever do anything like that ever. We've never done any team building thing ever. So got everyone together and I was like, all right, so everyone read theirs, and it was really cute because when everyone was reading theirs, it made sense. Like it totally matched their personality and everything. It was just like really good stuff, like stuff that maybe you wouldn't think of, or just stuff that you could start doing now, or just like anything. Yeah. So it was just really cool to like kind of get to know everybody on a different level and like hear some stuff like what they care about. Like, so it was just really cool to do, and everyone really loved it. So I'm really happy that we got to do it. And I'm going to start doing like more stuff like that with everybody. So because I feel like a lot of times we kind of like dehumanize seems kind of intense, but like I feel like we can kind of dehumanize each other. Like we kind of just watching people, we kind of don't like, it's just like whatever, it's just them. We don't think about like, dang, this person has a family, this person has like other things that they care about that aren't in this building. So it kind of, I feel like, made people like look at everyone out like a different way. Like, oh wow, you really care about animals that much that you would open up an animal shelter, and I don't even know that you love animals that much. Or I didn't know that you had family that would need that much. Or obviously if you want to like if you're a millionaire or whatever, you want to help your family, but like hearing that dynamic of like helping certain family members and they have different ailments or whatever. So it's like, that's really cool too. So I really, really like that. So I'm going to come up with like some other stuff for us to do. I really want us to do like a team outing, but I don't know how that's going to happen, but I would really like for us to do that.
Yeah. We did a team building one time here. It was like a scavenger hunt. So they have it like, in your downtown area, stuff like that. You download an app and You can customize it to what you want them to have in. And that was really fun. Everybody got to walk around and collaborate. You had break it up in teams, little stuff like that. Um, and team building is really great as well. I don't know if they have them there, but like sometimes they have these free like day courses for like hospitality or leadership or friendly work
Mhm.
stuff. But it just could be something small. Usually, sometimes like they sponsor lunch and stuff like that. I don't know. You can check it out in your area, but that could be like options too. Like when the day you guys are all off,
Mhm.
like okay, everybody 2 hours, boom, 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 boom. Like the people that really care are gonna come, and the people that don't maybe having something after that. But I think team building is really, really great because at the end of the day, without your team, what you got?
Yeah, we also just did menu tests. I gave a study
Mm,
guide, I gave them a week to
I
study,
hate test. I hate
and
test.
but they really need it because a lot of servers don't know. They don't know the
Yeah,
menu, and
yeah.
they tell this table wrong things that are very wrong. They make up things, and it causes like an issue. Like you need to know exactly what you're selling, and I think it's great because it really like shows. And I'm like looking over the test, and it's like you worked here for 6 months and you're like, it's just crazy. Like, it's like you really just don't know like some of the most simple things. And it's very crazy, but that's what it's there for. So we can identify things and work on things that are the bigger opportunities and stuff like that. So um, I'm happy that we did the menu test. And there's so many servers that have come up to me and like, thank you for doing that because they're learning things that they had no
Mm-hmm.
and literally have worked there for the longest time. It's kind of mind blowing. So, ooh, mini test,
Yeah.
test.
Mini tests. I hated all tests. I'm just a test hater in general. Like it is what it is. Ain't no shame in my game. I just hate tests in general. But they are very informative and they make you think outside the box. They help you get out of your routine. So I do like that. One of the things we used to do is like feature items, like they're menu items already, but like we'd pick like something for the week and we would literally have the chef talk about it,
Mm-hmm.
come off the line, present it, have the chef talk about it. Cause sometimes hearing it from their perspective,
Mm-hmm.
like hits a little bit different versus like you
Mm-hmm.
saying it for yourself, but you can kind of get into it. And they also like broke down like how they cooked it, stuff like that. Sometimes that's easier for me. I have learned for foods, like I'm the way I retain is like looking, maybe watching
Mm-hmm.
it play, something like that, depending on how difficult the dish is. So sometimes that was really helpful. I really liked it when they would do like when the chef could come out and explain it and stuff like that. That was really nice. And then all the liquor classes, sometimes were counterproductive. I would say sometimes they like I would take liquor classes where we would have like new wines or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it was too much to retain.
Yeah, and I think
Um,
that's what happens a lot when we do ours because everyone's just like, oh, we can drink, but it's like we're not drinking like a full glass of wine. It's really just a
yeah.
taste. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of stupid why people get so excited because it's not doing anything to you. But
Mm-hmm.
no
Mm-hmm.
one is retaining the information because they don't
No,
know
they're
like
too busy trying to sip. That's
yeah
just
from
what
the
it is.
test I
They're
could
trying to sip.
tell they don't know nothing about these
They're
things.
trying to sip. So it's like, depending on how much of the rollout is, it's something you could just spread out each day. Hey y'all, like the
Yeah,
rose of today, da da da. Whoever can sell the most roses today are gonna get their name put in a raffle and we'll do a pool every week type shit or whatever.
yeah, that's what we do.
Um
It's never a bunch of wines. It's always just like one. Like we'll pick something we already have, and it'll be like a
mhm.
wine or whatever. But yeah, they don't be remembering. No notes to
No, I don't
you.
retain, and I'm honest about
Mm-hmm.
that. I retain information very differently. I'm actually like a very high speed learner,
Mm-hmm.
and there needs to be high speed, or you're gonna lose me. You're gonna
Mm-hmm.
lose me. That's just the way it is. But I have learned my learning style. I tell people my learning style too, um, because you can't get mad. I told you. And too much idle, on a certain particular process. If I can't find a resource for it, I won't retain it either. If you give me a
Mm-hmm.
resource for it and you're like clear, like the resource is put in a place that I can find it inaccessibly, then I will
Mm-hmm.
never actually bother you with a question. I'll just go look it up.
Yeah.
However, when it doesn't be there, which in a restaurant, that's really hard sometimes to just like have all the specs super handy in a dish, like most of the time
Yeah.
that's like in the kitchen or maybe like in the prep area, but there's not really a really good, easy, accessible way I do remember we used to do that behind the bar, and that was nice, right? Like if you're
Mhm.
doing batches, if you're doing pre-mades, like those specs are
Mhm.
really nice. And maybe if that's like a way to put that somewhere like on the expo line or something like that, just specs just in case, or like by
Mhm.
like a main server portal, like if someone happened to put in an order and they're like, oh snap, I don't remember if it had the chickpeas in there, and you could
Mhm.
go flip through real quick. That
Mhm.
would be really nice. I'd be like, yes, please, sign me up for that. Sign me up for that. Because I have like a lot of cheat sheets with like, even just computer jobs, right? Like I will have like my own cheat sheets on top of what they already have because sometimes I
Yep.
need a quick view to view
Mhm.
that information.
Yep. You put it in your own lingo, write it how you want
Hmm.
it, stuff like
Yeah,
that. Yeah, that makes
yeah,
sense.
I love that. Shout out to the team building. I think that that's really important as we even talk about just even in our personal lives, like having community and connecting with people. It goes with like the workplace too. Yes, these are your work colleagues. You don't got to hang out with them, but it is very nice to just have a mutual respect for one another. It's
Yeah.
like respect. Put some respect on our name. We have a show called Put Some Respect on My Name, and I would do recommend that you watch it and listen to it because we speak the truth.
Yeah, I feel like, and also I'm like very observant, and my mom would always say, like, when someone tells you who they are, believe them. And it's really telling when, like, someone's first reaction is to be rude, nasty, or like disrespectful. And you
Hmm.
can't just like take a beat, like process, and then respond. So that's like, that to me is like, okay, I see what kind of person you are. When you can't even
Yeah.
just be nice, you know, or just maybe not say anything, or if you have someone like sit down at your bar at your table and you pretty much your profile them and you already have an idea about them
Right.
and you treat them differently just because the way that they look, or you treat them differently because you just assume that they're not going to tip you well.
Yeah.
That is like, that's like a character flaw, and it's just not.
1,000%. A
And if
thousand
that's how
percent.
you are, keep that inside. Like, don't show, like, bottle it up and just don't present it to the world, because everyone, some people may think they're doing that, but like, I've worked with people like that, and you can see their body language change. You see how they treat them differently from their other people. So it's just like, and it's just like, dang, this is the kind of person I'm working with. So if I didn't work here and I came in and ate with my friends, you would treat me like that. Or if my mom came in and you didn't know that that was my mom, you would treat her poorly because she's a black woman. That's tough. It's like tough to look
That is.
someone in the eye and respect them when you know that they would treat someone that looks like you poorly. It's not a good feeling.
It's not a good feeling. And I think that like when you said dehumanize, I think that like the world has dehumanized everyone and thinks that no one has feelings and no one's gonna just react when you have an issue or say something. I think that's a very valid point because people I had an encounter this weekend where I was in the mix of a server being treated poorly. And I did
Mm,
not like it. I did not like it. And it really boiled my blood to the point where it just wasn't even good.
yeah.
And the reason is because number one, I'm in hospitality. Number two, I believe in respecting people. Number three, yes, the service could have been better, but there's definitely ways to handle it. Number
Hmm.
four, like when this particular situation is always angry, there must be a resolution or there must be you need to stay away and never come out again. Number five, it was just like, yo, like you're in our industry. This is someone that's also in our industry. So when Whitney says like it's like when you stereotype, that's it's called an unconscious bias, to be very exact in corporate terms. Like you need to be able to not have a biased opinion based off of your personal views or the things that you went through, the things that you've consumed by watching TV and the media. You must have an unconscious bias by going to every person and treating them fairly from the beginning. You cannot bring in the shades of whatever or a past experience when okay they didn't listen to you and you got upset. You must come with a clear plate, period,
Hmm.
at everything that you do. And unfortunately, we live in a world where everyone's angry for whatever reason and they're just looking for the next target. And that
Hmm.
is not okay. That
Hmm.
is not okay. And I had to call this individual out for their stuff, but it's also going to change the trajectory of our relationship as a whole because what I will not stand for, regardless if it's me or not, we're at a place now that we have to stand up for each other.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And if you're going to do it to someone right in front of others, where you're changing the energy of our event in time, you're going to continue to do that until you are shut down. And we're in a season of shutting it down.
Period.
So do not allow people to treat. If you're at a table and your homegirl don't like her meal and she kind of an attitude with the server, you need to check her
Yep.
ASAP. Hey,
Yep.
friend, I understand that you're mad, but let's go ahead. Let's see if we can get a manager over. Let's talk to them and see if they can rectify it. If you don't want to talk to her, that's cool because you ain't got nothing nice to say. That's okay. That's okay, sis. You ain't got nothing nice to say. I'm okay with that. But what you do need to do is say, you know what, let's call a manager over, see if we can talk to them, and maybe they can help us rectify the situation. That's what a manager's for.
Yep.
Okay. Or say, hey, friend, I'm really upset about this. Like, can you see if you can handle this for me? Send it off to a friend. Like, you know what? Not that they really want to deal with it, but if that's your true bestie, she can hold it down. And you need to find another way to handle things. Like, we have to get in the era of handling things with respect and the ultimate like moral standing. We must not handle this immaturely. We must not handle things with the lack of knowledge and act ignorant, like we are uneducated to know what's right and what's wrong. Just because we see wrongdoing on TV does not mean we must do it as well.
And then you said moral standing. I guess people's morals are just effed up, you know?
I don't think they have them anymore.
Yeah, they don't. Like, it's just like, yeah, they don't. It's like
They don't
we're
have them anymore.
a lot out of people and they don't give a F. They do not care. And they do what they want to do. And it's really disgusting. But let someone treat them poorly, or let them feel that they're offended. Like, or be offended or feel slighted or whatever. It's the end of the world. Like,
yeah. I called it out. I'm like, nah, nope. Like, dude, I won't be telling no lies around here.
How was the you guys went to brunch or was it lunch?
We went to brunch at a place called Cafe 214.
How was it? What did you get?
Fries.
Oh, okay.
Because they didn't have anything I wanted on the menu.
Oh, okay.
And the menu was very limited already. It wasn't like many options, and they just didn't really have many options. Like, they really didn't have a lot of side options. So I ended up just getting fries, which is okay, whatever. However, like, it's a cool day party place. I think maybe you should just leave it at that and maybe just day party type of vibe. I don't think that it's necessarily. I did hear the other food, like other people did like the food that they got, but the service was not good at all. Just because like it was just a little bit more. Like, I don't know if like the servers were as educated or like on the menu items or what they can do, or just like maybe timing of the food. Like, literally, like we had put our food in like maybe 30 plus minutes, and then we're trying to order drinks. She never came back, so then she finally came back. We ordered drinks. She's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna put your food in now. We're all like, this whole time we've been staring at other people get their food. Why isn't our food in? That's so crazy. So, given the nature, it was not a good service experience, no, but we can definitely handle it differently, for sure.
Yeah.
We asked for plates for the cake and knife, all that, didn't get anything like that. And yeah, it was not good. So I've only heard of this place through a DJ that I know. He spends there a couple nights of the week, whatever, but he's a lit DJ, but I have never gone. I'm not a really go outer person. Would I go back again? Probably not. Maybe if it was just for cocktails or something, sure, but never to go eat again. It's just not really my forte. And I think some places are just meant to be what they are.
That's interesting. I wonder why she picked that place. Maybe because she saw it was maybe just like a lit place.
Oh, it looks like it's amazing on Instagram. That's the fool, y'all. That's the fool. But I mean, that's just the realization. I just want y'all to know, like, everything you see doesn't mean that it is what it is. Like, just because you see something online does not mean it is the creme de la creme. And I've had that personal experience when I had tried to get my eyebrows waxed one time. I digress. But online, it looks cool. It looks like a little vibe for sure. But unfortunately, it is just not really a place that I did get to see one of the guys that promoted it. Like, I saw him out, but it was just like, service has to be there. But I find it like I've bartended at a lot of day parties, and like I could see where we could step up on different service elements as well when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to our servers. So I do understand that there's just definitely a lot of like pieces when it comes to elevation of service in a high volume type of place. So
Yeah. I feel like too, like when it's like Sunday brunch, like can be so busy. And I know a lot of times servers hate it, but like you might need an extra one or two servers. So you're not running around like crazy. Because a lot of times,
yeah,
like, for example, like Friday night, it was like a slower Friday. And when the servers were doing their checkouts, they were like surprised that they had made so much money. And I'm like, yeah, a lot of times when you're not so busy and you're running around like crazy, it gives you that time to spend more time with your tables and really like build that relationship with them, be able to run your own food, stay on top of the side, like do all those things, and that all will get you more money. So it's not about being like slam packed and having a million tables because you're not going to give the best service that way. Like nobody can. So definitely, sometimes you need to have maybe an extra one or two servers on so you can like kind of release that load off of yourself.
I agree. I agree. Definitely beef up on staffing. I know why people don't do that because you just don't know the value, which that's something I've really encountered as well. That
Mm-hmm.
people think they're doing us a favor by not putting that many people on because they're not thinking of the volume, and then we end up getting slammed. You can't give good service, or you put too many people on, and then they end up not making no money.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, find the place for you. That's really all I can say as well. Like if you find that like you're working at a spot and that balance isn't there when it comes to ratio, people, over wellness, like if it's not really working for you, I think you have to move quickly because sometimes we go into the we gonna fix it. Maybe give them a two trial if they gonna fix it, but you gotta dip.
And also
You
too,
gotta
like
dip.
this happens a lot where like, we have a lot of reservations and we'll tell us like we tell the guests and we tell the servers, okay, your next reservation is at whatever time. Like you have to like be on top of that and have time management because if you are like lollygag and then your table's lollygag, you're losing money because they're done. They're not ordering. They're just talking. Like, yeah, it's great that they're enjoying their experience, but the more they sit there and not order anything else, you're not making any more money. Like, get them out so
Hmm.
you can get another table in. You don't have to be super quick and turn and burn your tables that fast, but like, be mindful. And some people are like scared to tell their tables that there's another reservation. I'm like, why? It's your table that you spend an hour and 30 minutes with. Why are you scared to like talk to them? And it's the way that
Hmm.
you say it. And nine times out of 10, when they sat them, our hostess told them that we have another reservation at 7:45 or whatever. So it's not like it's their first time hearing it. We can offer the bar. We can offer another place for them to sit to if they want to sit and have drinks. You could move over here, but we need this table. Like these
Yeah.
people made a reservation just like you did. So you would be pissed if you had to wait on your reservation because these people just are done. They're already cashed out and they're just sitting and talking. Get up. Like,
Yeah.
period. Get up. We got money to make.
Period.
Yeah, I
She
don't
said
get
what
it.
she said.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
I
like,
mean, that's just people, people are gonna lollygag, people are gonna do what they do, but you do have to just communicate as most
mhm,
effectively as you can. Like, hey guys, it's been a pleasure serving you guys tonight and hosting your lunch. We do have a reservation that is at 7:45 today. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop the checks. Can I get any dessert or do you need anything else before I drop the checks? Period.
boom,
And there you
boom.
go. Just
Dip
make it
in
real nice and
them
sweet. I'd throw
out.
a joke in there, y'all. I'm telling you, I
Yeah.
would throw a joke on them in a minute. I was the queen joke in my like when I encounter people. I like jokes though, but I would throw something at them. But then like so they're still connecting with you, so you still gonna get your tip,
Hmm.
but you still gotta let them know
Yeah,
they
I
feel
mean, you have to,
comfortable.
yeah, say it in in like a nice way, but like
Mm,
at the end of the day, it's like, okay, like as a customer too, as customers, like realize, like, okay, like I had a reservation too at
hmm.
whatever time, and
Yeah.
like it's a restaurant that, like, like you have to be mindful of like what you have going on, and like, too, that you're with your friends and y'all like to have those deep conversations, have a plan. All right, we're gonna have dinner here, and then we're gonna go to the next spot so we can continue the vibe and da 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 da. Like, so you can continue, know what you got going on, and like create your vibe. So
I think that's definitely a touch point. Like, I think that's something that's gonna have to be touched on a few times. Like, we must create a plan of like what we could possibly do in a night outing, because I find that does not happen.
Yeah, because that's
Like,
that's
doesn't
why
happen
that
at all.
happens. Why they sit at the table so long, because they don't have a plan of what they're gonna do next or anything. So like, oh, well, we'll just sit and chill here and just talk after we're done and not order any more cocktails and just sit here like for 3 hours. Like, that's crazy. Like, no. Or even the people that are the last people in the restaurant, and you see everyone closing down, they're just so oblivious, or they act like they're oblivious to it. Like, that's rude. Like, when you are at work and you want to get off at 5:00, you get to clock out. What if like people, and I get it, not everyone works in food and bev, but like if you're at a restaurant and they close at 10, and you can see there's no one else by you see everyone's cleaning, you see the kitchen is cleaning, get up and leave. Like, that's just rude, because you are holding them up from going home to be with their family. Point blank, period.
For sure. And that's the hardest part about service industry that people don't really know. It's like, we could say like, oh, you're gonna work 4 to 9, but like in real life that doesn't really work, y'all. Like, we have to, like, number one, if we have one last table, we do wait for them to close out, otherwise we don't get the money. Then we also have to make sure that somebody is gonna be held accountable to clean it up with the mess. And then it's like, okay, cool, like, what if you didn't get your food until this time? Or what if like you just now left and cashed out at 9 and I still have to clean my section and get checked out for you? So it does not mean that we have like a strategic time we can come in and out. Like, you guys get to clock in and out. We're based off of our tips, because we work off of tips. Anyone in service industry besides back of house and host and management work off full tips. Okay, or even our busters or service assistants, they get like a small hourly wage, and they still are based off a percentage for the tips. Like, we need the tips. We need the tips. I repeat, we need the tips. In Texas, you get $2.13 an hour. So what does that really mean, you guys? I want everyone to take a pen and paper down what you make per hour, or what you think you do. Because if you don't, even if you sell and you don't know how much you make per hour, you need to go ahead and do that. And you need to go ahead and minus $2.13 if you're in Texas. That's a lot. That's a lot of C-no's missing. So really, I'm not saying you have to feel pity. I'm not saying you have to feel sorry. I'm not saying any of those things, but you really need to take that into perspective. We don't get to walk in with a guaranteed amount of money every day. It's literally based off of how your attitude was, how much stuff you decided to order, and how many people walked through that door. That's what it's meant to be. And so we need you guys to do your best. If we have lacked in some service points for you, please address them, in the best way you can. Ask for a manager. Hey, manager, I really the food was good, service was not. That way that manager can see that and be like, okay, cool, I am so sorry that was your experience. If that's something they can know they need to work on. But you leaving the spot, going on Yelp, going in, that don't help. Because you really could have had a better ending by speaking on it. But then sometimes it's like, well, what was you really mad at? Was you mad that you decided to try someplace new and you ordered all this food that you knew you didn't really like? Or was it that the person was really bad? Because that does happen. You guys want to try all this stuff because you see it on TikTok or Instagram or whatever y'all see it on. But if you know you don't really like that, you don't need to order that. Like, don't do that. Don't do that.
This was like a long time ago. This lady that I knew, she came with one of her girlfriends and they had brunch. And she asked about the salmon, or smoked salmon toast. And I told her, I'm like, it's not something that I like. And I really told her, like, I really wouldn't order it. She still ordered it and she didn't like it. But guess what? I didn't take it off. You're going to pay for it. I told you not to get it and you still got it and you're going to pay for it. I don't care. You wanted to try it. You don't get stuff taken off because you don't like it. If it's made wrong or something like that, but that's just not how it works. Like, you're going to pay for it.
Well, that's a very interesting concept, because over here, that's, if you don't like it, they will take it off because you didn't like it. And it's just because of the simple fact that they want you to be happy with whatever that you bought. Not saying that it's okay to comp everything, but obviously, like, if you ate the whole meal, not really. But that is one thing that I can say, that That's a little different. Like if you don't like it, then the chef's gonna want you to have something that you like, so they'll try to replace you with something else in that ring. And it's just more of
Yeah.
so like a comp
Yeah. No,
dupes,
she got like a
customer
bunch of
didn't
different
like.
stuff, so it wasn't like her main
Mm-hmm.
meal, but
Mm-hmm.
told you. It's just a
Yeah.
thing. Like we go out and we try things all the time. Like sometimes you're not gonna like it, but I'm not just because I get like anything, I'm getting a bunch of stuff and I'm like, I don't really like that. I'm not gonna be like, hey, take it off my bill. Like it was my decision to try it. I don't like it. Okay, now I know. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a very, I would love to hear you guys' feedback on that. If you guys want to comment below, shoot us an email of what are your thoughts or what do you do? Like, what's your policy on that? I would love to know. Hit us in the DM. It's heyhqs@gmail.com if you want to send us an email. Because I would just love to hear the perspective. Every restaurant culture has like a different thing and way that they do stuff. So I'm very interested to know how you guys do things. No.
I had a table, or someone had a table over the weekend, and they got like I don't know some whiskey on the rocks, and it was like their second one, and they said that it tasted funny. It didn't taste like the first one. And I feel like that could be anything. The bartender could have used a jigger that wasn't clean when they measured it, like a whole bunch of things. I'm like, they could have ate something like that, changed their palate, like a lot of different things can happen, like why something may not taste the same. But they had like other people at the table tasting, and at that point, it's just like we can't taste it because everyone's been drinking out of this dang on cup. But I feel like that to me deserves more of a comp than someone who ordered something and they just wasn't their forte, because we can't taste it to know what it tastes like. So I feel like there's definitely different levels to like comping things off of a bill for sure. And
Yeah,
then things
for sure.
things that you can do to avoid it, because you're right, like you can't go through and just comp every like that's money that is adding up. What if every table just like didn't like something? You had to comp something off every single table. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean it is deep. That's why I said I'm curious to hear different perspectives because I have literally worked with a lot of concepts that's okay because at the end of the day, comps are not something that necessarily gets taken away from their P&L long term, depending on how they're doing their their financials, whatever. So
Hmm.
that's very interesting. I don't know. I can't say like everybody's concept is different, but I am very curious on like some other perspectives on that particular topic. I really am. I would love to know because everyone has their own vibe. I've done like where, you know, you allocate, your comps versus the money in. You can put to stuff towards marketing and events because you're gonna comp stuff if you're trying to market and get new business solicitation,
Hmm.
things of that nature. So what does that really come down to when it's like your P&L and your overall profit? So I am curious. I would love to know. So make sure you guys hit us up. How do you handle when a guest does not like an item? How do you handle? What's your standard? What's your motto? What's the flow? How does it go?
Hmm.
Period. Yeah, I would
Ooh,
love to know.
so when you said if you don't like if you don't like something, I told Erin that she needed to watch this video today, and it's like a viral thing that's happening. And someone just didn't like the fact that they were told to do something and they didn't like it, and they resulted in like violence. And it's just really crazy to me that like just like we were talking about like the morals of people and like how you handle things, like you're not going to always get the answer that you want, or you're not going to get the news that you want, but like this world that we live in is so crazy that like people just like don't have like just the basic respect for another human being is like so crazy. And I was talking about it to my grandma today and asked her, because she's always watching the news, and asked her if she saw this video of this man getting like literally like stomped for doing his job.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandma was like, it's so crazy that everyone's in an uproar about it. And this was what my life was like when I was growing up. We saw this
Yeah.
every day, all the time.
Yeah.
And there was,
Yeah.
and no one, that piece of like people like coming to help him, that didn't happen because that couldn't
Mm-hmm.
happen. And
Mm-hmm.
like we had this conversation, and she lives like right down the street from me. And she told me that when she was growing up, they weren't even allowed. It's like the word allowed is just so crazy. Allowed to walk in the very neighborhood that I live in right now.
Mm.
We weren't allowed to walk there. And it's so crazy. Like, it's like we feel like we've come far, but we kind of haven't, in the same breath. Because that's just what she experienced growing up in segregation. It's kind of like, it's just reiterated now in this modern time of so many
Right.
things that we see. And it's just so freaking sad to see stuff like that. Just like, it's just really, it's like kind of bothers you. But apparently, like, stuff like people resulting to violence when they don't like how something goes is the norm in that town. And it finally
Yeah.
just got put on a bigger level for everyone to
Mm-hmm.
see. But they're like, yeah, this stuff happens all the time. And it's just so crazy. So it's like, yeah, like, you're like, I'm interested to know how people take that, because someone could get so upset because you didn't take off their cinnamon toast. And what did they decide to hit a server? What did they decide to hit a manager? What did they decide to
Dude, there's
throw a
so
drink
many
at?
videos out
Yeah,
there, like off of
yeah.
people at the drive-through going in off of
Yeah.
something. So that's why I'm like, I am very curious to know. I would love to know. This is not
Mhm.
rhetorical, like,
I mean, most of the
because this is
time,
where
like,
we are.
yeah, people will just be like, I've had tables like be like, it could be anything, and they're like, can you comp? And I'm like, sure, I'll comp, like whatever. But like, if they don't like press it, I'm not just comping it just because. Like, you're gonna have to like, ask, or like, but it's just like, I could have a service come up to me like, yeah, she didn't really like her, whatever. Or like, people just talk about their tables. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, is she cool? Like, yeah, okay, her husband's gonna eat it, or her husband picked at it. All right. Like, it's not like a super pressing thing, because sometimes people can expect that too. And sometimes people aren't as genuine, and be like, okay, I'm gonna say I don't like people, you don't really
Mm-hmm.
know people's motives a lot of time too. Some people just want to get something for free. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
be mindful of that as well. So it's just like so many different scenarios that can happen in food or just anything. I've worked at a cell phone company, and people, they will lie and try to do all kinds of stuff just to get anything, stuff for free, stuff taken off their bill, all kinds of stuff, because people are people at the end of the day. So,
Yeah, for
ah,
sure.
crazy.
Speaking of the Montgomery Brawl, is what they call it. Um, a lot to take in. Obviously, I've been a little disconnected, so I
Well, it
wasn't
just
aware.
happened yesterday. It just happened
Oh,
yesterday.
okay. I was like, I
Yeah,
did
it's
not
not
see
like
this come up
days.
on
It
the
just
feed,
happened. I
child.
just saw it for the first time, last night, and I was late. It was already circulating
Okay,
all
cool.
day,
Okay, cool.
and
Okay.
I saw it late last night. So I felt like I was late to see it, because I sent it to someone. They're like, "Girl, I've been watching this all day." I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know. I've been at work."
It was definitely very juicy. I was like, ooh, ooh, ooh. I was trying to multitask by getting gas and watching this. Don't recommend, because I was like, it's gonna suck you in. Um, I would say the biggest thing with that I really took away is, man, we are in a time of unity. And I've talked about like community before and stuff like that, because it's just coming to the point, like Whitney said, like, you think that you've come far, and sometimes you feel the digression. I do think we have come far. I think we've
Mm-hmm.
come a long way. However, I find that we will always have a regression and digression in these situations because of people's emotions. Period. 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 It's all
Entitlement.
off of some emotions. It was like, you know what? It's one thing to say one thing. You got, we already have a different, like, we already see the difference between the two people. But it's like, it's another thing to feel like you have to hurt someone that's doing their job.
This wasn't
No
like
one
a
was
random
hurt.
man telling you what to do. It wasn't some random, like, he clearly had on a uniform. He clearly worked there. All these people are waiting on this boat to come in because they want to get on the ferry. That's why they're all there. Like, that's the business. Like, this is what it is. This is what y'all do. Um and like, just seeing, like, it's just started as just the two people, and then from someone to come who had nothing to do with it, come from behind, and like, it just like, it's just senseless. It makes no sense that they did. This man was 65 years old. Like, just no respect for humans. It's so crazy. So crazy. But if it was like the roles were reversed, and it was a younger black man doing that to an older white man, I bet. And my grandma didn't even see it on the news. My uncle showed it to her on his phone. So
Mm.
this isn't on the really isn't like a news story in other places. Maybe just there,
Oh.
but not
Mm-hmm.
like it's not like a big. Maybe by the end of the week it probably will be since everyone's blowing it up on like social media so much. But initially, no. But I know if it was switched, it would be a way bigger story for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
For sure. And at the end of the day, we must stand up for each other. If we
Yeah.
see someone in our culture going through something, we must not sit back and let it happen. I don't give a crap if you scared. You need to nuck if you buck. Because why? We have watched a lot of our people die in the hands of people that we had no control over. And if
Mm-hmm.
there's anything we could do now, is we can get off of our phone and stop videoing and we get in and help. The first dude that came to rescue looked like he was just pushing people away. It wasn't like him getting violent. So I'm not saying we need to resort to violence. I don't condone violence. But what I am saying,
But
if you can video, you can get in between. And yes, you can protect yourself because if you affirm, you shall have. Okay,
yeah.
period. You say, look, I'm gonna go in and help this man, and we're gonna be okay. But know it in your mind, and it will come true. But if you go in there scared and timid, you ain't coming out. I mean, this is what it is. We
Yeah.
must stand up for our people. We must stand up for our people. And I do ask that anyone that's has a lawyer friend in the law field, lives in that city, we need to reunite, but we also need to make it an important engagement, not off of our frustrations about our past things that happened, but what is happening in our future. Because one thing we do in our culture, we like to revert back to the past. Yes, that's still very prevalent, but we need to bring up how that is affecting our future, and we need to hit them where the juggler hurts. If y'all watch, we talked about it last week a little bit. They cloned Tyrone. I watched it, y'all. I told you I was gonna watch it. I watched it 2 times. This is huge. This is huge. It's 2 times because if you're actually listening and paying attention, it is a very subliminal message in there for us. But if you're not really ready to receive it, you're not gonna see it. But they're telling you they're just showing you what we're kind of oblivious of in our culture. We're oblivious of like what they're doing and how they're having a mind control over us in the way we may react to things because we're used to surviving and not thriving. So we must stop being oblivious to the situations and take action. I'm not saying you gotta beat up nobody. I'm not saying you gotta call Tyrone. I ain't saying it. But what I am saying is you see something's wrong.
Yeah,
Like you see something wrong, you call and you stop.
Yeah.
Like yes, the videos of the perpetrator or the picture is cool, but let's come to the aid and the defense. Let's come to how can we ask for justice, but we don't know what the laws are. How about you stop strolling on social media and you find out the laws of abuse, issues in your community. You need to educate yourself because we could watch all day, but we ain't doing nothing about it.
Girl, there was another story I heard. It was these guys. Oh my God, I can't remember what their name was that they called themselves, but they created their own like community police per se. Like they were like, and dang, I can't remember the name. And I guess they had contact information and everything, child, like a whole thing set up, like a whole group. And they were not in correlation with the police or anything. They're just standalone people who want to protect and serve their community. This lady thought that her neighbors, who were 2 black men, she felt like it was suspicious activity that involved drugs. She called this group and they tortured, sexually assaulted, shot this one of the men in the eye, like all this stuff, and there were no drugs found in their house, like nothing, like, but still it's like the fact that people just feel like that's the answer to like solving a problem of someone feeling that like there's suspicious activity, like you do that to 2 human beings is so crazy. Like,
but in defense, what justice are you reserving when you decide that you need to touch a private part? That was a terrorist attack.
Yeah.
So what we need to stop doing is allowing racial situations to happen as regular situations. That's a terrorist. I'm an American person, born in America, serving America, paying taxes in America, and I feel attacked. You know why? Because we have these people that I don't know where they came from. They're acting like they ain't got no sense. It's giving an attack.
It's so
We
crazy.
must stand up for ourselves. I ask that anyone. I'm not saying I don't care what race you are. I don't care. That's
Yeah,
not my
if you see
prerogative.
something
But you need to
happening like
stand up
that,
for yourself.
and that's what the thing is that really bothers me so much is that all the white people, that no one was trying to break it up. Like no one, like, you know what I'm saying?
No,
Like
because they
everyone
wanted to
just,
smoke.
yeah, everyone just literally just saw him doing that, just came and just started like just seeing them stomp this old man. It's just like, what? Like no one tried to stop them from doing that. Like none of them tried to pull them apart. It's just
That
like
doesn't surprise me at all. I think,
beyond,
unfortunately, I'm
beyond.
desensitized, just like most people would be, off of the hatred that we have once against each other. There's a thing that I've really been big into, and we're going to have to tap into this subject a lot more, but it's called diversity and inclusion.
Mm-hmm.
And that's in the workplace, that's in your life, that's in your personal, that's when you on the boat trying to pull up. We must, if we can allow other groups and communities to have a forefront in this subject, we must bring this to the black for in the racial battle that we're going through, because it's actually very prominent in other groups when they're fighting their social presence. Should I say? I'm trying to watch my words. But we need it in our racial communities, and that's Asian goes through things. Afghan, like the Iranians have been going through things. I'm not saying whatever race. I don't care what race you are, but what we do need to do is we're so divided. We need to divide and conquer and realize that number one, you crazy and you mad, and I didn't ask for your energy today. Okay, so the vibe of the month is keep your negative energy within thyself.
Yeah, keep it in there. Don't come
Keep
over
it
here.
within thyself. And know that if you are portraying negative energy, bad vibes, that you could be a victim of repercussion. I don't know what that's going to be. I don't know who you're going to talk to. I don't really know. I don't
Because
want
at
to speak
this
that on
point,
you.
I mean, for
But
real,
that's what we're rolling into. That's what we're rolling into. We must stop the shenanigans. It must stop today. We must hold each other accountable. We must unite us together. I love that this man had a defense, because a lot of the stuff that we get to see on TV, we never have nobody there for us. And I want to say right now to all my community is we must get off our phones. Somebody else record. You gonna be all right. And we need to go ahead and be a tribe and be together. And anyone that's out there in the legal field, I would love to connect with you guys, talk more about how we could be a part of just great diversity and inclusion. We don't want to smoke. We don't want the violence. We don't want to riot. We don't want to fight. What we want to do is have some good conversation with good dialogue, so we can all understand that respect is needed, and that is also the way we treat these individuals in our day to day. Right? We encounter these individuals at the Walmart, at the Home Depot, at the gas station, and they already feel away. But it ain't nothing to it. Hey, sir, how are you? All right now. We don't gotta like them, but we must cut the shit.
Or you're just gonna fuck around and find out, because people are now keeping metal chairs in their trunk. So
no,
just be careful.
I'm dead. Grandpapa was not playing with y'all.
I feel like it really like put like a battery in the black community's back. Like they like this is like the way the black community is rejoicing over this happening, like seeing it on social media is groundbreaking. Like everyone is so excited that we are able to see us be able to fight back, and not end up with a dead man, like dead people. Like, thank God no one was like lost their lives or anything like that. But like we're so used to seeing that being the result that everyone is so happy. Like how sad is that? Like when you really think about that.
It is, but I'm happy to hear that. I haven't been on to check it out, but that is a really refreshing thing to know that, like, for once, we don't condone violence in any way.
But it's
however, you guys,
he was getting ganged. Like they were coming to help him.
It's not okay. Like it could have been one-on-one the whole time. No, if you buck, we cool with that. We cool with that, but we're not okay with it. Honey, I was like, you better. You better get
I
off.
was like, what is that in the water?
He said, I'm coming. I'm
That,
coming.
and he was like 16
Oh
years
my
old.
gosh.
Like, how insane.
But
Like,
that's what we need to do. Like, we have to take action. I think, me and Whitney talked about it briefly before the show. We're going into our 8-8 portal, 8-9. We have a lot of great energies coming into this month. So things that are happening in vain and not for a reason. This is a time of unity. And this could even be with your neighbor that is a different culture across the street. I'm not saying that it has to be segregated. What I'm saying is we must stop the segregation, but our cultures must stand up for each other to stop the segregation. What Martin Luther King did is dead if y'all don't stand up for yourselves. Period. We want to give him an MLK Day, but we ain't living by it. And that's whack.
Yeah.
That's whack.
Yeah. It's like just a day
it's
off.
Giving whack.
Yeah. Really.
It's giving whack. So
but yeah, the show will come out on 8/8, which is lit. I love that.
Yes.
So y'all are going to be seeing this on August 8th. It's a big manifestation day. So after you watch this, like write down some things that you want to come to fruition. Do the work, surround yourself with the people and the experiences and spaces that will get you to that point, and let go of things that you know are holding you back, or people, places, jobs, whatever it is, food, drinking, take a break or whatever. Like there's so many different things, and your life will start changing, child. Mindsets, thinking about people you used to date, be friends with, anything. Like, you think about it really can, like, you don't think that it will, but like thinking about those negative things really comes out in your life. And you're like, dang, why are all these bad things happening? And you don't realize because you've been thinking about all these bad things and you don't realize, like,
thoughts become things. Thoughts become things. And on that note, I am made to thrive and not just survive. You have a purpose in this life, whether you're a bus driver, a server, a politician. I don't care what you are. Your job does not define you, but what does define you is your integrity and what you choose to do in this world and how you choose to treat people. That's what defines you.
Yeah,
and don't let anyone
don't let anyone like put you in that box or say, oh, you're just to this or you just to that. Like, no, like if you know, I am this, and like, no, don't let people like to do that and like look down on people. That makes me so mad. Like, no, I am just like you. You're no better than me because you have whatever title. You're probably hated and struggling anyway, working at your corporate job, where I'm happy making $500 a day. And I don't have to come in until 5 o'clock, and I work 4 hours and make this money that you have to work 8 hours and probably still don't even make it. So, like, who's really winning? So it's all about perspective. But don't let anyone make you feel less than because of whatever your job is, because it's just a job.
It's just a job, and honey, you just a number, and you just a profit line.
Yeah.
So make sure you guys go into this month manifesting what you want, write it down, and know that we are thriving and not surviving. The bill's gonna get paid. Know it, trust it, move on, move forward. And also we condone unity and not violence. If whatever happened, but let's try to unity, let's try to be civil. And if you haven't done already, make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Make sure you're commenting below, adding your 2 cents. There are great commentary because your voice is important over here in Hospitality Queens. If there's one thing we're here for our hospitality industry folks, we also care about your thoughts and stuff as well.
Period. You can follow me on Instagram, WhitneyWhite1_, and you can shop my store, Shop2230 on Instagram and Facebook.
Also, you can follow me, Get Toned with E on Instagram, and Get Toned Wellness for all your wellness needs.
Until next time.
Peace. You know, it reminds me, it's in Living Color. I can talk in Living Color. I haven't seen it in forever. Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while.
Go back.
Period.
Go back. You know that.